Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos and Abuja. A reminder of our top stories. Federal government replies Governor Murtala Nyako on the killings in the northeast, says comments are irresponsible. President Jonathan moves national security meeting with 36 states governors and service chiefs to tomorrow. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and others condemn extremism in the country. And Russia threatens attack if its interests in Ukraine are violated. A quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, ChannelsTV.com, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. And of course, you can interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. So if you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions to share your reports, pictures and videos. All right, over now to Abuja, and here's Linda Akigbe. Hey, Linda.
Thank you, Joman. Welcome to the nation's capital. The national power generation has picked up again with reports that Nigeria's generation has risen to 4,105 megawatts as at today. The Power Minister, Professor Chinedu Nebo, insists the recent milestone recorded is already being felt in some areas. It says so far this was made possible by reduction in system collapses as well as improvement in service delivery. A breakdown also reviews how generated capacity was shared, with Industrial Nerve Center Lagos and environs getting the highest. A maximum load allocated to Abuja through Katampe and Wawalada power line is 410.80 megawatts. But for the timely intervention of officials of a national conference, a committee of the conference barred journalists from covering its proceedings. The conference committee on devolution of powers told journalists that they were only allowed to cover the committee's opening ceremony and not its proceedings. The conference assistant secretary, Mr. James Akpandem, however, intervened, saying journalists are allowed to cover the entire proceedings of the committees. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi has the report.
It's the second day of the 6 days marked for committees of the National Conference to complete their work, and they're going about it at different centers. But the day almost started on the wrong note as journalists were prevented from covering the Committee on Devolution of Powers.
We are talking about one committee out of 20, and that it is because the leadership of that committee thought that it was a classified thing. But the moment the leadership was told that it is not, that they can allow people, and they said it's okay. I mean, nobody's trying to stop anybody from covering anything.
After that, journalists were allowed back into the hall.
I want to say that the secretariat of this conference has directed that committee work should be covered by the press, and that's why you've been invited in.
The committee then continued its discussion on resource control.
We in Lagos are asking for a special consideration. All the boards are there. If only the only 1% to give us from the custom duty for that. We will be very happy as a direct charge. You are not asking for that. Even if it's only 1%. Every single Niger Delta citizen should be a millionaire. Should be. And if they are not, we should look into resource quality, resource accountability, and resource responsibility.
Other committees broke into smaller groups to get more work done, while others, like the Committee on Immigration and Related Matters, invited resource people to brief them.
There are only 84 control posts in Nigeria, including land, air, and sea. In the northern part of the country, it's fairly open, so we can have quite a number of illegal routes that people pass through. In the southwest, it's not that open, and in the eastern part of the country, it's a mix of mountainous regions, open regions, and the rainforest down the south of it.
Some of the delegates in other committees also explained what their committees have been able to do so far.
The discussion is still going on before we think about either inviting or breaking or standing as a committee on its own. Because when you looked at the end of it, obviously the restructuring has to do with the devolution of power again.
Because almost all the issues, they are known to all. And as you know, law is a compact profession. So we are taking them item by item, with each person having one strong opinion or the other. Because if you bring it to a committee, you may be denying that committee of the chance of another person with a strong view of making a comment on it.
Largely, since yesterday, we've been discussing and deliberating, and we've really made useful progress on all the 4 thematic issues, namely civil society, sports, youth, and labor. And on labor, I think we've had a robust discussion, and we are coming to the conclusion to make the point that labor is a critical partner in a development process.
And we are now going out. We sent ourselves to research into other places. I'm going to the headquarters of the security services to meet their heads. Another person, one of my committee members, is going somewhere. So we want to use this afternoon to get the materials and the views of the people who run the other organizations so that we can meet adequately this tomorrow morning and start to cover them. We are going well, but the time seems to be too tight to cover everything.
Now, some of the delegates expressed fears that the committees would not be able to complete their task within the 6 days given to them. They are, however, optimistic that they will do their best within the time. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a loan of $152.12 million and a grant of $385,000 from the African Development Bank for the support of the agricultural transformation agenda of the Goodluck Jonathan administration. Briefing State House correspondents after the council meeting, the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Akiwumi Adeshino, said that many financial donors are excited with the turnaround in the agricultural sector of the economy and will do all they can to support the efforts of the federal government. State House correspondent Chukwuma Onwekusi reports.
The federal government says gone are the days when agriculture is practiced at a subsistence level. Government says agriculture must now be treated as real business and that every loan taken must be accounted for. The minister enumerates the benefits of the loans under the crop processing zone as it concerns job creation.
There will be 120,000 jobs that will be created from the development of these initial staple crop processing zones that I have mentioned here. And that will include 36,000 women. How will it contribute to our food production? Massive. It's going to allow us to add an additional 20 million metric tons of production of rice, cassava, and sorghum into our domestic food supply. In terms of youth, 200,000 youth are going to benefit from this particular initiative.
The 7 states that will benefit include Anambra, Enugu, Jigawa, Kano, Kebbi, Niger, and Sokoto. The loan facility will support production, irrigation, social infrastructure like rural roads, potable water, sanitation, and health care. 27 local government areas will be covered under the loan facility developed in close partnership with the state governments. And on the infrastructure benefits of the loan,
there will be 17 water control structures rehabilitated. 1,300 irrigation canals will be rehabilitated. 1,300 kilometers of all-weather roads will be rehabilitated. There will be 1,007 wash bores and tube wells to be constructed, and in total, 68,000 hectares of rice, cassava, and sorghum will be put under commercial production. The access to insurance products by farmers in these 7 states will increase from 9% to 80% at the end of this project.
the Federal Executive Council believes that the rural infrastructure needs of the country will be experiencing a facelift and that wealth will be kept at home, placing Nigeria at the forefront once more using agriculture. Chukuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
The Akwa Ibom State Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party has finally zoned the 2015 governorship slot to Eket Senatorial District, rising from an enlarged meeting of the State Executive Committee held in Uyo. The party reaffirmed its earlier call on President Goodluck Jonathan to contest the 2015 presidential elections. For the state governorship, Governor Godswill Akpabio and the party chairman explained that it's only fair for Eket to produce the next governor, being the only zone yet to occupy that seat.
Of the party constitution 2012 as amended, stipulating adherence to the policy of the rotation and zoning of party and public elective offices in pursuance of the principles of equity, justice, and fairness. The meeting zones the governorship position to Eket Senatorial District.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma.
Thanks a lot, Linda. And when the news at 10 returns, International Monetary Fund advises Nigeria to adjust the naira, citing increased pressure on the currency. That's on Business News.